Las Vegas is always filled with stars, but today they will shine on a sunny afternoon on the streets of downtown. The stars of the Champ Car World Series are ready to raise the curtain on the 2007 season. The Champ Car World Series in 2006 was full throttle excitement from the first lap to the finish. A season punctuated by motion and emotion, crashes and clashes. When the final checkered flag fell, we had a three-time series champion to celebrate. Today, sporting an impressive look and intense attitude, Champ Car kicks off 2007 in the streets of Vegas.
This is a new era for Champ Car for sure. It's going to a spec series with very few changes you can do on the car. It's very, very different from what we're used to.
I have more experience than most others, but you know, the guys that are young are definitely out here fast and trying to prove that they can win as well.
I'm very excited. New car, starting on a new track, just driving with your knife between the teeth all the time. You know, 100%, never give up.
You don't have to be a psychic to know that Champ Car 2007 is set for a dazzling debut. Next on NC. NBC Sports presents the 2007 Champ Car World Series. Today, it's the Vegas Grand Prix. One word describes the 2007 Champ Car year: new. A new chassis, new faces, and the year begins on this new street circuit. Let's get you started with the stories as we begin our countdown to green. Just moments ago, our team of pit reporters went to work. Here's Marty Snyder.
Well, thanks, Bill. Will Power has won 2 of the last 3 poles in the Champ Car World Series, including here this weekend. Your team got so much better at the end of the year last year. Are you seasoned enough to win a race today?
Yeah, I think we're ready. We're definitely there on pace. You know, the team's worked really hard over the winter and you know, on pole. I mean, they're all the ingredients you need to win a race, but it's going to be a lot of mayhem because the tyres go off around here fairly badly. So I think that there'll be a lot of alternate strategies, and we'll see at the end.
To Cameron Steele.
Right on, Marty. Well, in 16 years of Champ Car racing, he's been called everything from the man to a maniac, and the new sponsor, I'm already hearing people calling you the monster at Champ Car out there. But you really did come out and attack this track right away. It must be nice to be in your hometown.
No, it's great. I mean, it's you know, it's been a long road for me, but time goes by when you're having fun. So, you know, I've been in the series now for 16 years, and to be able to race here in Vegas in front of my home crowd with our sponsors, Forsyth Indec, and now having Monster on board is great.
Right on, he's looking for his 31st win, and let's head over to Bill Stevens with our series champion.
Sebastien Bourdais did not have a very good Friday, and yesterday was no bargain either. In qualifying, he hit the wall, has had mechanical problems with his car, and this is not a misprint. He is starting 16th today. Sebastien, I got to ask you, is that car good enough to move you through the field today?
Well, I think it was really quick yesterday. We were P1 in the practice qualifying session, and we were looking really good in qualifying, but I made a very costly mistake crashing the car on lap 2, second fast lap, so they took away my fastest lap, which would have been good enough for 6. But, you know, it's all on me, and now it's going to be pretty hard to move up because the tires are going off really fast, but we'll do our best.
We wish you luck today. Let's go to the 4th member of our NBC pit crew, Michelle Beisner.
All right, Graham, it's been 9 years since we've seen the Rahal name on the Champ Car grid. You're making your debut here at a very young age. You've had some problems, though, through the weekend.
Yeah, we had a crash yesterday morning, which kind of took us a step back. But certainly the team's doing a great job. We've made some huge strides this morning. I think we've got a great race car.
Thanks, Michelle. Hi, everybody. Bill Weber along with Wally Dallenbach and Jan Beekes. Thanks for having us in for the race. And from our entire NBC race family to your family, happy Easter. The 17 stars of the Champ Car World Series anxious to get the season started. But, Wally, you've had a lot of success on a number of different street circuits. The course could be the star of the show.
I think it is. This is probably the finest street course I've ever seen. It's just a layout. It's smooth. It's fast. There's one section that's bumpy, but this place is wide, and that's what you don't normally see on a street course, how wide it is. But it's a lot of fun. All the drivers I've talked to has had a great time. Let's take the track map. The straightaway is wicked fast. Right here, past the start-finish line, going into turn 1, you're over 185 miles per hour. Between 1 and 2 and 3, that's where it gets a little bit bumpy. We'll see some guys here with brake issues, especially on braking. This is the rhythm section, all second gear corners, about 50 miles per hour through these corners. But I'll tell you what, Jan, for the last couple of days, we've seen some interesting things happening at the chicane. It's been a lot of fun to watch some of these cars, what they're doing in chicane, but that could cause some issues in today's race.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild. And first of all, the reason that they have a chicane, if they didn't have it, the cars would literally take off on the approach to the tunnel itself. Now, interesting, it's a bit like ski racing, and that is you want to straight line the gates. And when you try and straight line the gates, you can see sometimes it really abuses your body in ski racing, but here, look how it can abuse the car for Sebastien Bourdais, literally flying through the air down through the tunnel. You don't want to do that during the race because your car's not going to make it to the checkered flag.
Plenty of excitement, and the green flag is less than 25 minutes away. Back to pit road when we continue. This is the Champ Car World Series on NBC. 2.4-mile street course here in downtown Vegas. It's gotten fantastic reviews. What's it like to be out on this track? Well, we put our best man on it, and it was a whole different world for Wally.
You know, how cool would it be if they just shut the streets down for you so you can just rip around with no traffic? Well, that's exactly what they did here in Las Vegas, just for us. Turn 1. Now, all these corners are pretty much second gear corners, about 50 miles per hour. Now to the straightaway right here, these guys are going to be hitting about 165 miles per hour before they come down into this hard right turn, another second gear corner. Good passing zone right here. This is really a cool corner right here. It's kind of a double apex corner, right up against the wall here. Hold her in second. Glide. Another short chute. Again, second gear corner, about 50 miles per hour. Hard left here. Little short chute. All rhythm. Right through this section is all about rhythm, which I have none, as you can see.
Well, looks like you had a lot of fun, but nobody rode with you here, Wally.
I had a rider lined up. What happened, Jan?
Had to make room for a cameraman.
That's what it was.
Jan, this could be a big day for some of the veterans in this sport.
I think so, because the rookies can be fast in qualifying, but when it comes to a street course on a hot day when you have to manage your tires, I think today it's going to be in the veterans' hands, and it's going to be a tough learning curve for some of those rookies.
And there are some of those big names to be watching today. Been a fun week here in Las Vegas, here at the track, and even around town. In fact, earlier this week, a gala fundraiser at the Bellagio, the Keep the Memory Alive Foundation, benefiting the Lou Ruvo Brain Institute, and Jay Leno was there.
DJ Plus in the house.
This is where they should have a Grand Prix, actually. I mean, it has everything else except a Grand Prix. You got the entertainment, you got the food, you got everything except Grand Prix, so now the circle is complete.
And also there that night, John Bon Jovi, Big and Rich. You saw Jay, and there was a lot of entertainment all over the place, including the Teddy Bears performing their hit, A Different Sound.
ChampCarShop.com is full of the newest merchandise from the most exciting race series in America. Go online now and choose from a great selection of t-shirts, hats, shirts, bags, books, videos, and die-cast models. We have the hottest stuff from your favorite teams like Newman Haas Lanigan, Forsyth Racing, and Team Australia. Drivers like Sebastien Bourdais, Paul Tracy, Justin Wilson, and more. Order today and shipping is free. Shop now. Champ Car stuff is going fast.
Go inside the game and get strong opinions on sports' hottest topics from experts at NBC Sports and Sports Illustrated. Watch Sidelines on NBCSports.com and SI.com.
And here's some vintage footage for you. We actually had this colorized for your viewing pleasure. Wally Dallenbach in the open wheel cars. And you had a lot of fun, a lot of success in those, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah. No, it was fun. It was a good time. That was a Denver Grand Prix there, and they're fun cars. These are fun courses to drive. They're very busy. I mean, you can't make a mistake here.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you really got to stay on top of your game. For the rookies, you got to pay attention to your mirrors.
Yeah. Well, you guys were both rookies before you were veterans. 8 rookies in this field, 7 making their first start in Champ Car today.
Yeah, one of them got to meet, Paul Tracy's a really good guy. He's one of the veterans, and he goes around and introduces himself to some of the rookies. Mr. Pagenaud got a visit yesterday. Don't know if that's what he was looking for, that kind of visit, but during qualifying, Paul thought he got blocked a little bit and went and had a conversation with him.
Well, here's what happened during qualifying. Tracy was out trying to make his fast lap.
Yeah, Tracy was on one of his flyers, and I don't think Pagenaud really saw that Tracy was coming and didn't get out of the way. So Paul just said, hey, let's have a drink afterwards, maybe have some dinner and get to know each other.
And we got to look at some of those rookies that are in this field. Some have had stars, and some are trying to make themselves a star.
Yeah, and one thing about Paul Tracy's just trying to get in everybody's head. He's famous for that. I don't think that really Simone Pagenaud held him up too much, but he wants to make sure, hey, I'm Paul Tracy, and I'm after you.
Okay, well, obviously, Graham Rahal and Simone Pagenaud had a lot of success in the Atlantics. For Rahal, it was a 6-win season and a battle for the championship that went down to the final race. But the championship was won by Pagenaud. He had 1 win, a number of podiums, and, of course, several top 10 finish. A lot of success for those 2 drivers in the Atlantic Series. And now they try and make their name in Champ Car. Take a look at the starting grid for today's season opener for the 2007 Champ Car World Series. It's an exciting field, and as you look at the front row, you can see Will Power and Paul Tracy are up there. Tracy, a former series championship. Robert Dorenbos and Alex Tagliani start in row 2.
On the next road, Simone Pagenaud, we just spoke about him. He has been lightning fast, but has had problems with the car. And Bruno Junqueira now driving for Dale Coyne.
Take a look at row 4 in today's season opener. You can see young Justin Wilson, one of the rising stars in Champ Car.
Neil Johnny. I think we'll be saying here's Johnny today, as well as Graham Rahal. A lot of high expectations for Rahal.
Rahal, just an 18-year-old rookie in row 6. There's Speedy Dan Clark. He's back there. Wally, I think you can actually do row 7 for us.
Yeah,
here.
Captain Legg is in row 7, and Matt Halliday. Hey, I can pronounce those too, so take it from here, Bill.
Then in row 8, Ryan Diesel and Sebastien Bourdais. Bourdais will be the exciting one to watch, coming from deep in the field. We'll continue our coverage of the Champ Car World Series from Las Vegas. The motor start is coming up. We'll be back after these words and Bill Clement at the ADT Update Desk. This an opportunity earlier today to eavesdrop on the Newman Haas Lanigan team meeting. Let's listen in.
All right, guys, let's get ready to go. This is Las Vegas, the first race of the 2007 season. It's the first race with a new car. It's the first race with a new strategy. I know we're not where we wanted to be necessarily in terms of where we are on the grid, but I think one of the strengths of this team is that we're really, really good with strategy, and hopefully we'll be able to capitalize on this situation by dealing with it the best.
The whole theme here is new. New cars, new rules, the new faces.
Is that a new tie you have on?
Yes, it is. It is brand new for this occasion. Something wrong with this tie? We talked about the new car. These fans are here to get a look at the stars of Champ Car, and one star is the chassis, and Jan had a chance to take a look at it.
When a series designs a race car, you can do some pretty cool things. And Champ Car started with a raised nose, meaning more air goes underneath the car, providing most of the downforce, so the front and rear wings now do less of the job so the cars can run closer together in traffic. Now the chassis itself is a little larger, much safer, and the drivers have a 7-speed paddle shift at their disposal on the steering wheel. But it's still a Champ Car. It's got the Cosworth V8 turbocharged power plant still behind the driver that gives it that distinct Champ Car sound. And underneath the skin, behind the 7-speed gearbox, is an onboard starter. If your favorite driver gets in trouble, he should be able to refire and get back in the race.
And that'll be one of the things we'll be watching for today with this new car. A flyover here in Las Vegas. A lot of excitement surrounding this event. The fans have come out, and obviously looking forward to this start to the 2007 Champ Car World Series. John, you did have a chance to take a look at that car. Obviously, a lot of teams are excited about it, and we'll see how it all plays out. Let's check in with Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, let's talk about some of the cool electronics on these cars. This steering wheel is worth about $10,000. They're going to put it on Robert Dornbor's car right now, and the steering wheel now has paddle shift on it. That'll be a big key today. Paddle shift is up on the steering wheel. They shift up on his right, down on his left. It also has power to pass. These guys can hit this red button. They have 60 seconds of power to pass. They also know when they need to shift. They can see timing from the guys in front of them and behind them. $10,000 in that one steering wheel, Cameron.
What you're looking at right here with Team Australia behind Simone Pagenaud's car is the starter. Well, that is the external starter. Like Jan talked about, they do have an onboard starter, and what this is being used for, if they have a spin or to stall the car out on the track, they're hoping that the starter is able to start the cars. They have been working in the pits. We'll find out later today if they work out on the track.
A lot of unknowns today, but a lot of excitement in the air. We'll be back in a moment with the start of the Champ Car World Series Vegas Grand Prix. After these messages and a word from our local NBC stations, a 2.4-mile course, 10 turns, and a lot of excitement in the air here at Las Vegas. You're watching the Champ Car World Series on NBC. New beginning and a new challenge for the stars of the Champ Car World Series. These are the precious final moments when drivers and crew are sharing the same dream, the dream of winning it all.
Sebastien Bourdais to close out the 2006 Champ Car World Series season.
In 2006, the road belonged to 28-year-old Frenchman Sebastien Bourdais. The fast driver earned his third straight Champ Car title, racing to a series-high 7 victories. Fiery Paul Tracy lost some punch last year.
Paul, put your helmet on. Put your helmet on. Fisticuffs break out behind the wall. Is this a replay of San Jose?
But in 2007, the former series champ is back, and this street fight is in his town. One young driver wants to follow in his famous father's tire tracks. Graham Rahal makes his Champ Car debut in Vegas at the age of 18. Now, speed meets greed as the Champ Car World Series comes charging through the streets of downtown Vegas in front of a full house. Get ready to place your bets because these drivers know that in this daring game of chance and champions, only one person walks away a winner. NBC Sports live in downtown Las Vegas, Nevada for the season opener for the Champ Car World Series, the Vegas Grand Prix. The cars have fired on pit road, beginning to roll out of pit lane and onto this 2.4-mile track. A lot of excitement here in the air. There are 17 cars in this field, 8 rookies, 7 are making their first appearance in the Champ Car World Series. Be 2 laps here before we go green. A number of storylines here. You see the starting grid at the top of the screen. First of all, while these cars are warming up, let's start with the track. This is the heading down toward turn 3, the rhythm portion of it, but it's a lot of fun to drive, Wally, but it's really a challenging drive.
Yeah, it is a challenging drive, but like I said, this is so unique because it's so wide. You don't normally see this much room in between the walls on a street course, so you can really hustle a car here. You know, these guys, it's new cars, and there's a lot of questions in the air right now about new car blues. We just saw that graphic come up. You know, it's Lola. Last time they came out with a new car, they had new car blue. So, I mean, I love the concept. I think this is a great idea. I think Champ Car is going in the right direction. The drivers seem to love the race cars. So we'll just have to see if these cars have the same problems or it's just going to be regular gremlins on a race car.
Well, they're hoping that poor performance or poor lead-in makes for great performance. And I think in this particular case, tire management is another thing we're going to want to look at. That was part of that graphic as well. And I think that really what you want to do here is be careful not to abuse the tires because they do go off fairly quickly. They're not going to wear out, but you're certainly going to lose a lot of grip.
And I think what we're going to see a lot today, too, is guys that are locking up those front tires going into these corners. You really got to dive in hard on these corners, and we'll see some guys locking those tires up. And like John says, his tire management, you can flat spot one of these tires real easy if you lock a tire up and it goes 25 to 30 feet without spinning.
Let's take a look at the race rundown for today's Vegas Grand Prix. A number of new rules in effect for 2007, including the fact these are timed races now. It's a 2.44-mile track. There are 12 turns. and the fuel window is about 22 to 25 laps, and obviously pit strategy could be a huge factor here today.
It could, and really the variable when you have a timed race is you don't know the number of laps based upon how many caution periods you have. So the computers up and down pit road have programs written that the more yellow you get, they automatically calculate for the teams how many laps the race will be.
Let's get some final stories before we go green down on pit road. Here's Marty.
Well, guys, talked to Paul Tracy this morning, and he said he found some things on his car after practice yesterday that he was surprised his car actually ran so well. He called it a wear part that broke, and he wouldn't tell us what it was because he thought other teams would break that same part today, and he didn't want to give out the trade secret. But they found it on the 3 car early on, and they're much more confident today because they got that part fixed. Bill?
A couple of stories at our sports. I saw Alex Tagliani outside the hotel a couple of nights ago. During the course of the conversation, I said, Alex, what do you think of turn 1 on race day? And he gave me that big grin of his, and he said, it's going to be crazy. Also, his teammate, Justin Wilson, just before they took the grid, a fuel leak of that car, I spoke to the team. They think they have it corrected.
And we'll find out. Straightaway heading toward turn 3.
And Bill mentioned turn number 1, and in the drivers' meeting, Tony Kottman, the race director, termed it as the vortex in turn 1, wanting to suck drivers in. And it's so wide and it's so tempting that that's what they're concerned about, is someone seeing open road and saying, I think I can put my car there. They don't want to pile them up in turn 1.
Bill Stevens.
One other comment on Justin Wilson. The team was up late last night debating whether or not to change the engine in that car. They have decided to stay with the engine that was in it. That's what they'll start the race with.
And getting back to turn 1, Jan, really fast heading in there.
Oh, it's super fast when they're fully up to speed. As Wally had said earlier, it's between 185 and 190 miles an hour.
Getting ready to go green here. On board with Graham Rahal in the Metazone car. He starts 10th today. Here's Justin Wilson in the number 9 CDW machine. He's in the 8th position. It'll be a staggered start when we get there. At least that's the plan.
That's the plan.
Simone Pagenaud also has an onboard car. It just went under the tunnel. The field coming to the green in 2007.
I don't think they're going to get it that time.
Nope.
And one of the reasons that they wouldn't give the green is they wanted to have a staggered start. They did not want the traditional side-by-side, so they weren't following the race director's directions.
Well, and I don't think a lot of the guys in the back were up to the grid yet. I mean, we only had 8 or 9 cars there that were trying to be staggered. I think, like we saw that in-car shot of Graham Rahal, he was trying to get up to the field. But, Jan, you know, the stagger, if we're starting side by side, I'm not going to stagger. I'm sorry, you can tell me all you want, but I'm going to try to get up as far as I can. So this is going to be interesting to see if they can really pull off a staggered start.
Cameron.
Well, I talked to Will Power just before he got in the car, and he said even though he's on the pole, he's very concerned about the start because he is in the dirtier or the dirt-covered lane of the racetrack. He's very worried about the very aggressive Paul Tracy to his outside and worried that Paul's going to get the jump on him.
The clock has started. Again, it's a timed event, 1 hour and 45 minutes. When they do go green, hopefully this time, pay strict attention to turns 1, then the tunnel turn in turn 2 where it's very rough, and then turn 3, which has really proved to be very tricky.
And the call from race control was that P1 needs to have an advantage over P2, meaning that Will Power needs to be ahead of Paul Tracy as they approach the flag. That's why they didn't give the green. So much for stagger.
This is a time race. Yeah, Paul Tracy's not going to. I really don't think he's going to let that happen.
Marty.
Yeah, Bill, we saw the shot of Graham Rahal sitting back there, and they were telling him to catch up to the field, and he said, I can't. Everybody in front of me is not going. And he said, I wanted to go when they threw the green flag, but there were 4 or 5 cars in front of me that just didn't go.
On board with Graham, 18 years old, making his Champ Car World Series debut, the son of 3-time champion Bobby Rahal, the former winner of the Indianapolis 500. That's through the chicane, then downhill into the tunnel, then...
And to the right, I was just going to point out, Bill, that to the right of that is pit lane. That's where he split.
Sorry, Wally, let's try it again.
That's about all you're going to get from Paul Tracy.
And Paul Tracy's gone around the outside. Oh, that was Rahal. Rahal's been in the wall.
Graham Rahal, the 18-year-old, making his debut. That's turn 1. Field trying to funnel through. Sebastien Bourdais back there. And there is the car of Graham Rahal up against the wall.
And I'm not so sure. We'll see with the replay, but you know, this track's had a lot of dirt on it. Even after the cars have run, you know, the groove was good, but you can see when a car gets offline, there's a lot of dust flying. I wonder if he just got in that loose stuff.
Marty, you got some information?
Yeah, he came on the radio and he said Dan Clark hit him right into the wall. He said he just took me right into the wall, gave me no room at all on the start.
Well, there you have it.
Had so much success last year in the Atlantic, was looking forward to his debut, but he didn't make it to turn one under green. So early contact here at the Vegas Grand Prix. You're watching the Champ Car World Series on NBC. NBC Sports Live at the Vegas Grand Prix, the season opener for the Champ Car World Series under caution. The field failed to make it to the first turn under green before the caution flag came out. Graham Rahal making contact with the wall. Let's take a look at what happened. 18-year-old making his first Champ Car start here this afternoon. Now we can ride along with Rahal.
Looking to see if he gets pinched. There was Dan Clark to his left, but I think, Wally, what you were talking about earlier, that is the portion of the racetrack that didn't have a lot of running, and it was dirty.
Yeah, that was a dirty part of the racetrack. You could see that the car came over on him a little bit, and he reacted a little bit, and when he reacted, he got in that loose stuff.
Marty Snyder.
Well, the replay showed a little dirt out there. I know it was a dirty racetrack, but did Clark get into you at all?
Well, I mean, what happened is, on the start, we weren't all packed up enough. And so I was trying to get right up behind Justin. In the meantime, Dan Clark must have been like 6th gear flat out. And he definitely jumped the start. And then what happened is he got up next to Yanni and realized he was going to either hit Yanni or go across the track. He shot across and, you know, I mean, I had to dodge him. And by that time, you're so far out in the dirt that the car just won't turn.
A short day for the rookie 18-year-old.
Thanks, Marty. Very disappointing. Talked to him yesterday along the grid, was really excited about the opportunity. Thought a podium finish might be in the plans, but not going to work out today for the son of Bobby Rahal. Now it's time for the Mazda virtual pit stop, where you, the viewer, try to make the right call. Today's question: who has the best chance to unseat Sebastien Bourdais as the Champ Car champion? Is it Paul Tracy, Justin Wilson, or Alex Tagliani? Using a mobile phone, text A for Tracy, B for Wilson, or C for Tagliani to 55333. Each text vote costs 50 cents. We'll check in on the results a little later in today's race. So Paul Tracy is the race leader. Then it's Will Power, Bruno Junqueira, Alex Tagliani, and Robert Doornbos, the top 5 under caution here at the Vegas Grand Prix, the season opener for the Champ Car World Series. Disappointment for Rahal, but Sebastien Bourdais and company trying to make a run at the Champ Car World Series race here in Vegas. Back in Las Vegas for the season opener of the Champ Car World Series, the Vegas Grand Prix. We're under caution. A couple of cars have been on pit road. Sebastien Bourdais, one of them. The race leader is Paul Tracy. Will Power, the pole sitter, runs second. Now, a couple of issues to discuss here while we're under caution. First of all, let's talk about the tires. There are the red tires and the black tires, John.
Yes, and for the Bridgestones, you have to run these red sidewalled, softer or more grip tires at some time during the race. The whole idea is they want some of the cars on black, some of the cars on reds, so it gives more opportunity for passing and more opportunity for different strategies. But a lot of the people are saying that the reds don't have near the longevity that the blacks do.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of guys down there today. They said, man, we don't want to be on these reds. They go off real quick. But here's my question, John. Why would they take them off right now? You've run a couple of laps on the green. If the tires are that bad, and I've heard some teams say after 3 or 4 laps, they're really bad. Why wouldn't you get them off?
Well, we're going to get stepped downstairs first to Cameron Steele, and then we'll get back to that. Cameron?
Well, I caught up with Derek Walker, and Derek, you weren't happy about the start, were you? I can tell by the look on your face.
Well, no, we're second. We should be first. But Paul's a good starter. He's got a lot of experience, and I think he was a little close to the front line there off the mark until the green flag flies, but he's got it. It's a long race, though. We're quite happy where we are.
Well, real quickly, while we have a second, we all want to say happy birthday to you, Derek.
Oh, thank you very much.
And the answer to your question, Wally, is the reason you wouldn't come into the pits right now with this yellow, it just may have turned this race into a two-stop race. So you really don't want to have to stop 3 times. If it's a two-stopper, you just got to live with those red tires.
You see the pace car headed for pit road. There's the chicane. Drivers weaving through. Pit road is to the right. The track stays to the left. You go
we got
through a
somebody
tunnel.
spinning already back
Sure
there.
do, at the back of the field.
Is that Figgy, possibly?
Yes, indeed.
Car. Alex Figgy.
His car sitting in the middle of the track, and the green flag is out.
Oh, now that's a block right there, Jan. We were talking about that earlier, too. What's the rule on that in Camp Car racing now?
You can't make any moves at all. So the stewards will be looking to see, I assume that was Doornbos, who certainly was a black and red car that appeared to move over, was a challenge from behind, and they'll look at that carefully up in race control.
Tracy in the blue and white number 3 car right there. There's your race leader. Then Will Power. The caution flag is out. Full course yellow.
I'm sure Figgy couldn't get that car started, and that's why.
The flashing orange light that you can see above him is what they're going to use for pit closure. So you may not pit at this point until that light goes out.
So he sits there waiting for a tow. And the field will have to creep around this 2.4-mile track. Now here's the start. This is the restart.
Now watch the block I think we're going to see here.
It was just prior to that. I think it wasn't when they were coming up out of the tunnel.
Right.
Just when you got the green, car was moving from one side to the other. And that's one of those things on starts and restarts, they are a little more lenient because you're trying to find some racing room and some sight lines. But during the race, no way can you move.
So the safety crew headed to help out that car with an issue.
And, oh, we ran into the back of his teammate. It's Ryan Dial.
Right.
It was one of the traffic jam. That's what happens. The cars, they all check up to go through the chicane, and it's kind of the accordion effect. It feels like the person, it probably happened to you on the highway, somebody gets on the brakes, and it's the accordion effect as you get back down through the field.
We expected to see some trouble at that chicane, but not under caution.
No, not on a pace lap. But we talked about veterans, and we talked about rookies, and that is a mistake that Alex Figgy won't make again.
Now, one more issue we should probably try and address here is the fueling issue of these new DP01 chassis on pit road, something Champ Car has been working very hard on.
Yes, and it's one of these things where the new chassis and the new fuel cells, when they started to fill them up full of fuel, they had some issues with getting full fuel. But in the meantime, let's watch Sebastien Bourdais. He's just going to keep pitting, Marty, at the moment to top up the tank.
Well, and what they're doing, Jan, it's been a very busy few minutes for Sebastien Bourdais. He came in on lap 2 because, as you said, they wanted to turn it into a two-stop race. But under that green, this caution, very fortuitous because they found out they had a left rear tire going down. Now they have switched to the blacks. The other thing on top of all this, it's a very warm day here in Las Vegas. They've had problems with heat inside the cockpit, and now his water bottle doesn't work, so he won't be able to get any water all day long.
Well, can they hand him a bottle of water?
They could, but there's these pit stops are awfully quick, Wally.
6 seconds.
They
I'm not
can't
sure
hand
how
you
much
5
water.
bottles of water. There's only a few bottles they can hand you, Wally.
Just hand him a bottle of water next time, Marty.
It's Figgy on pit road, takes a hit from the fueler.
Now, to finalize the fueler and the issue that they have, you could see that Sebastien Bourdais has been in twice and they filled it up, no problem. But when they go for a full fill, sometimes it's not venting quite properly. Some teams have it completely figured out. In fact, Champ Car flew in all kinds of pieces on Wednesday and Thursday. So some of the teams might play different fuel strategy today because they're actually not quite certain if they can fill the tank all the way in a pit stop.
There you see them checking the tires.
And his name is Dog. It's because his dad's name was Hot Dog. He's been on the series with Newman Haas Landing, and now they found the puncture. In fact, he can hear it. And Sebastien Bourdais did not have good luck, but he has today that they found that under caution.
They found that right there, Jan, and they came in and found it right away. Dog found it right away, and as you said, you can hear it almost. It's leaking out of that hole right there, the left rear tire.
They're the pace car. Again, we'll head for pit road, and once again, we'll try and get in a full green flag lap here in Vegas.
And there was a call from race control. You saw some cars changing position. Race control actually had car 14 and 9 change position, so it wasn't that someone was passing when they shouldn't. They were told to do that by race control.
Justin Wilson in the 9, Robert Dornbos in the 14.
And my guess is that was that blocking thing that we saw, because I had a feeling that was Dornbos when we saw it originally. And here comes Paul Tracy, and wow, look at them. They light him up at slow speed. Wow, that's exciting. That's almost like a standing start.
Nearly 190 miles an hour when they get into turn 1. Tracy, then Will Power.
Here comes Dornbos.
Oh, nice move. That was a beautiful out-braking move right now. Oh, a little bit of contact there.
Justin Wilson appeared to get hit from behind in the CDW machine.
On board now with Wilson.
Here's the roughest part of the racetrack right here. You got to be really careful when you brake right here, because the cars bounce up and down off the racetrack, and you're downshifting and braking at the same time. When these guys get a lot of laps on these tires, we're going to see some issues there.
Good long straightaway that leads you to turn 3, and then the rhythm portion of this course begins. A lot of right and left-handers connected by very short chutes.
But it's you pretty much run the same gear all through here. You get off the throttle, you kind of slow it down, then you hit the throttle real hard, get into another right-hander.
And it's worth talking about right now that some of the drivers might be using the Cosworth power to pass. Marty told us about that briefly when he was showing the steering wheel. You get 60 seconds of an extra burst of power, 18 seconds of additional 50 horsepower, but you can only use a total of 60 seconds in an entire event. Everybody has the same amount. You have to choose when you want to use it. Sometimes when the cars are this close together, it's a great time to try it.
Through that chicane and into the tunnel.
And that's Dornbos in the red and black making the move on Junqueira, and then behind the other Minardi car, it appeared, got into the back of Justin Wilson.
There is Wilson. Started 8th today. Again, young Graham Rahal out of the race on the opening green flag lap. This is turn 3. Now headed for 4. This takes you past the hotels and the casinos here in downtown Vegas.
And I will say that move that we were so impressed by was actually Alex Tagliani. Now that we can get a better look at the car, he also has that Lexington Energy black and yellow scheme like some of these others. Fantastic move for Alex Tagliani.
That red and yellow car, the McDonald's machine for Sebastien Bourdais, the 3-time champ. He's already been on pit road twice. Had problems in qualifying.
12th spot right now. And a lot of these guys around him, you'll see, we talked earlier about the tires, the reds. He's on the black, so he's on a little bit better tire right now. Fresher tires for sure.
Behind Neil Johnny in the Red Bull machine.
Got to be real careful through here. I mean, he's got a lot of rookies he's coming up to. He doesn't want to make any mistakes. He want to make sure that he thinks the rookie or the driver that he's trying to take sees him before he makes a move.
With Simone Pagenaud. Then Johnny, then Bourdais.
I bet we'll see a move going into 1 here. Y'all, there's a lot of room here.
Here he comes. Now Johnny has a European racing background where they make it more difficult and they do some blocking, but he follows the rules there but gets in super deep.
Bourdais in a similar situation last year where he had to start deep in the field, wasn't very confident before the race, but came on to win. More from Marty.
And Bill, you're talking about that Denver race. He actually started on the front row for that race, got in an early wreck on lap 1, as a matter of fact, had to go all the way to the back of the pack, made his way back up through the field to win that race. Today, he told me right before he got in the car, we're not quite as good as we were back then. He said the bigger part is the tires. They wear off so quickly. I'm kind of in a box. I would love to be aggressive, but if I'm too aggressive, then I wear out the tires. So I've got to play that fine balance between taking care of my tires and trying to get to the front.
Trying to win 4 straight Champ Car World Series titles, Sebastien Bourdais. His first race as a father, Jan.
Yes, that's true. It's not his first race in Champ Car.
Right,
yes, he's been racing some other things, but it certainly hasn't affected his focus. He's ready to. A lot of times he doesn't necessarily admit. But look at this, they'll batter for the lead.
Will Power trying to make the pass on Tracy.
Talk about shutting the door.
And here he comes.
Nicely done.
Will Power to the lead. Started on pole. Tracy took the lead on the green flag start. He started under caution when the field was not aligned properly.
And you can see Tracy going after. I mean, he doesn't like getting passed by anybody, but you see very aggressive.
Cameron Steele.
Well, it's kind of ironic to see Will Powell pass there because he said he was having his best luck in the tighter corners, but down the front straight, he wasn't very comfortable. So it's kind of interesting to see the changes they made at the car. I'm going to talk to Derek Walker here in a few minutes to see if we can elaborate.
Thank you, Cameron.
But Will Power has newfound confidence. There's no question. We watched him in qualifying. He just blew off the competition. He likes his car. You can see the way he drives. He's leaving only inches between the wall and the tires. And that's a newfound confidence that he's just built with the team and the car. He's going to be tough to beat.
Want more Champ Car race action? Subscribe to Race Director. Just go to www.champcar.ws and choose from 6 different camera angles while you listen to team radio communications and view live telemetry, all on your home computer.
Hey, watch these guys going through that chicane area, Jan. They're starting to get a little bit more aggressive on those curves right now. You see the first few laps, they were being careful, especially when you're racing somebody. You have the tendency, you want to make that thing a little bit shorter, and that's where you can damage your car.
And I think that Will Power is doing a couple of qualifying laps right now. He doesn't want to give Paul Tracy the sense. He wants to get far enough away to where maybe he'll discourage Paul Tracy.
On board, Justin Wilson, CDW machine.
But with Mario Dominguez coming up behind. Great story for Mario. Shocked. He just shocked the Champ Car community when he found out he was driving for Forsyth, the team that he was fired from last year, as a last-minute deal. And certainly a lot of people pulling for Mario Dominguez. Bill?
I'll tell you, Paul Tracy is having the time of his life, and I'll tell you why. We talked about the fact that he is in his hometown, but when he was the provisional pole winner on Friday, he said that he loves street courses, and the first 3 races of the year are in the streets. Las Vegas, then we go to Long Beach, and then Houston. He says this race will be a big barometer of how dominant he can be this year.
Tracy trying to chase down Will Power. Then it's Alex Tagliani, Bruno Junqueira, Robert Doornbos. The top 5 here in the Champ Car season opener. That's the front stretch, pass, start, finish. There's Tracy in that blue and white machine. Former series champion, had a very disappointing year in 2006.
Now,
rough through here.
It's worth talking about, Wally, that Paul Tracy doesn't like the reds anytime. He didn't last year, he doesn't now. And as the red sidewall Bridgestones start to wear, it won't be as comfortable with Paul. But the next 2 stints that Paul does will be on the black sidewall tires, and that might be a tougher fight with Will Power.
Here we go. That's a good race right there. Whoa!
Dominguez has already got by, but here comes Neil Johnny.
Yo, that's tight.
Neil Johnny up the inside. Justin Wilson has lost another position in the red and white, and here comes Sebastien Bourdais.
Bourdais is there. So is Pagenaud in that green and yellow machine.
That all started because Wilson's in trouble. Wilson has definitely fallen back through the field in the CDW. The red car coming right through the screen here.
With the white front wings. Then Bourdais in the McDonald's colors. So Dominguez with a nice move in traffic. And Johnny sure didn't look like a rookie there, did he?
Not at all. Look at this. Neil Johnny trying to take both spots. Wow, Mario's thinking, yeah, I got Justin Wilson. Whoa, where'd you come from?
And then Pagenaud right on his wing. On board with Wilson.
So Wilson got a little wide.
Yep, that set it up right there.
Here comes Neil trying to squeeze it in. That
happens fast.
Great work.
Oh! Bourdais, wow. Well, you knew he'd be coming to the front.
I'm not sure if Justin, he was pretty close for contact there. And by the way, got a waving yellow. And we have a car buried in the tires. If that's one of the Minardi cars. OZ Jet is the main sponsor for Doornbos, but it's also on the other machine as well.
Dan Clark's car could be. And that's that spot right there where you're coming off the bumps. And
it is Dan Clark.
Yes,
yep, sure enough. They have the sponsors on both cars, but
Clark's helmet, easy to identify.
All right, buddy, we'll get it back. Let's get going. See if you got your visor up. That's it. Gesture. We can see you.
That's gesturing, which of course means that he feels the car isn't damaged, possibly that the tires had done their job and possibly could get a tow.
Now there's Bourdais. Right behind the rookie Pagenaud out of the Atlantic Series. Now here's on board with Justin Wilson. There's Bourdais with the move.
It looks like Justin just has his hands full right now.
Yeah, the car's really loose. Remember, there was potential contact with the back of his car on that first restart, and it's just big time loose. The back of the car stepping out, and there's the answer to our question. No physical contact, but wow, is Justin Wilson out there trying to save his life.
Sebastien Bourdais, a 3-time champ, trying to make it 4 and trying to start the season with a win coming from deep in the field here in Vegas. There you see the safety crew working with Dan Clark.
And he was in trouble
way back.
Yeah. That's a tricky part of the track, and it got Dan Clark. We'll be back in a moment with more from the Champ Car World Series Vegas Grand Prix after these messages and a word from our local NBC stations. NBC Sports live coverage of the Champ Car World Series coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada on opening day. And happy Easter to everyone out there on this beautiful Easter Sunday in Las Vegas. Under caution after Dan Clark stuck it in the tires down in turn 3. Several cars have been on and off of pit road. And the pit strategy really starting to play out here.
Yeah, a little surprised Tracy didn't come in and get those tires off. I mean, as much as he doesn't like the Reds.
And I think the reason he did not pit is right now he's only thinking about Will Power. If Will Power doesn't pit, Tracy's not going to pit. He wants to not let Power get any advantage.
That's Power in the 5 car, the leader, then Tracy. Let's take a look at some of the pit stops that happened while we were away.
Yes, Will.
This is Alex Tagliani.
Which would have been the highest runner at the time that decided to hit pit road.
Takes the Reds off, puts on the black Bridgestones.
And appeared, we talked about the fueling, appeared as though both he and also Sebastien Bourdais here are getting all the fuel. And we talked about maybe poor rehearsal makes great performance, although I couldn't say it earlier. It seems to be playing out.
And there was a report from pit road that Bourdais might have had another tire issue, might have had another problem with his tires.
But it won't hurt him. Where he is right now, the more pit stops he makes under yellow, the better. Just keep doing it until he gets ahead of everyone on his fuel. And although he may have to stop about the same time, he'll take less fuel and have a faster pit stop.
So right now it's Will Power, the race leader, then Paul Tracy runs second. Power started on the pole. Tracy took the lead away. Then Power got it back. So we continue under caution here in Las Vegas.
Now, if for some reason there is a caution period between now and when Will Power and Paul Tracy pit, that will be a bad call by the two of them, because it'll leapfrog everybody else as we see Dan Clark making the long walk back to pit road. Marty?
Well, Bill, you talked about it. There's the right rear from Sebastien Bourdais' car. Another cut. This one, the right rear, as we said. The left rear was before this tire was going down, right before the caution came out. So Sebastien Bourdais finishes podium day. He's gotten 2 very timely cautions to help them out. And by the way, Wally, no more water in that car either. I couldn't get over the wall to hand him one. I tried, but couldn't get there.
They asked him if he wanted any.
They did ask him one if he wanted one this time. He said, no, we don't have enough time. He's very focused, but with a brand new set of tires and once again, a fuel load of fuel.
Thanks, Marty. The quest for the Cup begins next Saturday as the NHL's best battle it out in quarterfinal action. Gear up for the Stanley Cup playoffs next Saturday. 2 games at 3 Eastern and noon Pacific. Pittsburgh at Ottawa, and the New York Rangers take on Atlanta. And next Sunday, 1 game. It's at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Calgary and the Red Wings. The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC. There's Alex Tagliani. Let's get an update from Bill Stevens.
Down here with Paul Gentilozzi, the head guy at Eurosport. And Paul, the race isn't really into its main theme yet, but a lot of strategy down here with fuel and tires.
Well, we made the decision. We took a little bit of a gamble here. We gave up P3 for P7, but we're on black tires. The sun's out. It's hot. We don't know what the racetrack will do. If we get to the end on one stop, we're heroes. If not, we're not.
And Alex is happy with the car.
Oh, absolutely. He's got a great car. He was saving fuel first one.
Got a good run going.
The field rolls through the chicane, then under the tunnel. Those are great seats right there. Those fans get to see some big action. Green flag coming out.
Wow,
what happened to Paul Tracy?
I was going to say, I figured Tracy was going to have a real good opportunity here on the restart to take the lead back. But
look at Junqueira.
Bruno Junqueira looking to the inside. Tracy holds him off.
I think Will Power caught Paul Tracy sleeping a little bit on that restart.
Could have been a gear change. It almost looked as though, since everyone but Paul Tracy, because that's so atypical, that would not happen to Paul Tracy. He is usually the king of restarts.
I was expecting him to be the lead going to turn one on this restart.
Again.
Yeah.
Marty, what do you got?
Just listening to Paul Tracy, he said if that wasn't a jump start, I don't know what it was. So he felt like he got snookered on the start. It wasn't a gear shift. He felt like they caught him not caught him sleeping, but jumped too early.
There is a specific point on the racetrack. There's a line drawn across the racetrack that they had said you cannot accelerate on a restart until that point. So it's a judgment call from the observer that's there, but they are told exactly where they can get on the throttle.
And you know Will Power was thinking about what happened earlier when Tracy beat him to turn one. Power, the race leader in the green and yellow machine. That's Paul Tracy, the Canadian, running first and second, working lap 18. Here's the start.
Well, there's no question at the point where you're supposed to accelerate, Will Power is off to the races. And then an aggressive move by Bruno Junqueira. But when it comes to braking, one of the guys that's got to be the toughest to outbrake would be Paul Tracy.
And something that's really fun for these guys today, they don't have to pay any attention to the traffic signals. So don't let those think they're in control of the race.
And by the way, the drivers asked if they could be turned off because they can't be pretty distracting. Said no, if we shut those off, we'd shut down the whole city. They're all wired in together, so they have traffic flow.
So Sebastien Bourdais go by there. Justin Wilson on board with him, CDW machine.
Justin Wilson did pit, so we would assume that they've been able, he is on black sidewall tires, we can see that now, and let's hope that in that pit stop they somehow got rid of that looseness because that car was wicked loose with the back stepping out before.
So he's really pretty much in ideal conditions right now.
Well, we don't know if his car was possibly damaged. Remember, we saw early on the very first restart, it looked like somebody got into the back of him, or if it was just a case where he wore out the red sidewall Bridgestones.
On the go, you can follow all the exciting Champ Car action with Champ Car Mobile. Go to www.champcar.ws to download a live leaderboard, wallpapers, and ringtones to your mobile phone. Standard data rates will apply. Champ Car Mobile. An update from Bill Stevens.
Well, I'll tell you, Justin Wilson has had quite a weekend. You guys already know about the fuel leak just before he took the green flag. Almost switched engines last night. And on top of that, he's still getting used to the paddle shifter. Now, guys, I got to ask you, you've driven here. How hard is it to adjust under all of those distractions?
Well, you know what? No, it's funny. We were talking to Paul Tracy the other day. I think with Marty and I, or maybe you and I, Bill. He said, there's times where he's reaching down looking for the shifter.
That's right.
I mean, you know, because when you're used to using a shifter all those years, then all of a sudden you go to a paddle shift, it takes some time to get used to it. Some of these guys are having some issues with it.
He said it was his 16th year, and all of a sudden, you know what he did last year? He was a right foot braker and changed to a left foot braker. I mean, that's a lot different than just using your hand on a paddle versus a gear shift. That's like golfing left-handed and decided to pick up right. I mean, it's a huge difference, but he's pulled it off.
And that's hard enough when you're just trying to play right-handed, let alone change. Marty, what are you doing?
I'm following Sebastien Bourdais, and he came in. He said, you know, every time we pit, guys, this is after the last pit stop, we seem to gain position, so this seems to be working out for us. And he had this quote, if I was listening to my heart right now, I'd be crying, so I better check my mood. He's kind of giddy inside the race car. Obviously very confident with what they have versus what they had earlier in the week in that one car.
Tell you what, you start moving forward, it makes you feel a lot better. Bourdais carrying the McDonald's colors. It's along the pit straight there, headed for one.